This episode is sponsored by Jen Hernandez. Hello, my name is Crystal Petry, and you are watching another episode of the Crystal Petry Podcast, Season 3. On today's episode, we're going to learn how to build a company that truly loves you back. We'll explore how cultivating trust, consistency, and care for your business creates a cycle where a company not only grows, but begins to give back in the forms of referrals, opportunities, and loyal relationships. Think of it as learning how to pour into your company so your company can pour into you. Welcome to the podcast, Jennifer Hernandez. How are
Thank
you?
you. I'm great. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I was writing that intro and I was saying, that the company will pour back into you with referrals and opportunities and relationships, I ain't putting money on there. I feel like, of course, when you have a business, you want money, but the referrals and the relationships, I felt like they were more important. But we will get into all of that, and you are going to educate us on all of that. So tell us, where in the world are you, Jen?
So I am in Houston, Texas. I am a native Houstonian, and I went to Texas A&M University, which is in Texas, and just made my way back to Houston after graduation.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
We love Texas around these parts. We love Texas.
Yeah, nice.
Now, Jennifer, what does it mean for a company to love you back? And before you answer that, I am just going to be very transparent and tell you that I have never heard of that phrase before, and I have never even thought of the possibility of a company loving you back. So when you first started speaking to me about that, it was literally the first time I had ever been made aware that was even a possibility.
So in my opinion, my definition, it's the referrals, it's the relationships, it's the past clients coming back to you again and again. And I have 30 years of experience as a lender. And it really has only just occurred to me. Like, I've kind of developed this concept in the last couple years as I've been, you get towards the end of your career and you start soul searching, right? Like, wow, how's the ride been? And I have been 100% referral for 30 years. I've never advertised. I've dipped in advertising just to help a referral partner, like, oh, I need to get leads online and blah, blah, blah. I've never done it for more than 4 weeks. I'm like, listen, this is not going to work. Let me help you spend money on nurturing your people that you know, and that's going to pay you back than 100 leads and you convert one, So I've learned my lesson the hard way. But I think that it's the true testament that you are delivering on promises and caring for people is the biggest compliment, is that they come back to you again and again. They send you their friends, their family. That is the ultimate compliment, that they send a family member to you. And that will happen it's not difficult, but we're going to go, I'm not going to get ahead of myself because you have some great questions for me because I read through them. But it's really people coming back to you that have done business with you before. That's the true testament of loving you back. And the money will come, by the way, because you'll feel this high compliment and sense of responsibility when they refer you. And it really causes you to do the very best that you can. It causes you to rise up to a certain level, and you feel good. You feel impactful. You feel important and relevant, and all of those things feed into your psyche, right? Like, wow, I'm really taking care of people. This is just the most amazing compliment. So that's my answer.
I know, and this has happened to me as far as referrals, and it's a lot of times you don't, of course, obviously you want referrals, but you don't really expect them, or I'm speaking from me. But when I get like just a random email out of the blue of someone that I worked with before, saying, hey, I'm referring this person to you. Crystal's amazing. I work with her. She's awesome. She's knowledgeable. I'm just like, what? It's like the best feeling ever when you
Yeah.
get those referrals, and it's the text messages or the emails or whatever that looks like, and they are really singing your high praises and telling someone else you have to work with this person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the ultimate, it's the ultimate gift, the
it
ultimate.
it really is.
Yeah.
It
And
really
it's just a
is.
confirmation in so many ways for you as just a human being that it clicks all those boxes. Okay, I'm being praised. Okay, I feel important. Like, let's face it, deep down, we all want to be liked.
Hmm.
We all want to feel loved and valuable, right? So it
Yeah.
feeds all these different boxes on so many levels, whether we realize it or not. So,
Yes, yes, I agree. Why
yeah.
do you think referrals are some of the most powerful indicators of a healthy business?
It means that you're truly taking care of people. Like, when people interview for jobs or interview for, oh, why should I hire you or whatever? Oh, because I like people. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's that you need to take care of people and make them feel that they're more important to you than you are to them. I think that it's the transactional versus the relational. And I think that it's a powerful testament to, I think, integrity and, the consistency all wrapped into one, that you care enough to build, I'm going to call it a machine, because really it is. You're building something that keeps giving this consistent experience, no matter what you sell, to people, that keeps them coming back. I mean, it means that your business is healthy, because when you're transactional, or when you don't have systems in place that keep delivering the same experience, one person has a good experience, one has a bad. It just depends what kind of mood you're in that week. Was I organized this week or was I not? Like, seriously. And that's, a lot of people get caught up operating that way, unfortunately. So I've been lucky to have some great mentors and great coaching, and it's not easy, I will tell you, but it doesn't have to be hard. It
How
takes
do you
self.
know? How do you know when your company is giving back to you?
You feel success. You
Hmm.
feel it. You feel a sense of success, pride. You feel happy. Like, wow, that was, we talked about the referral, right? The compliment that gives you, the check mark, checking the box. You feel accomplished. You feel, I mean, we definitely feel accomplished when we get paid, right? But
Yeah.
let's face it, sometimes things go bad and you get paid and you're like, I mean, I've had transactions go bad. I mean, I'm not perfect. And I can tell, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even deserve to be paid on this. Like, my system failed. This happened, whatever happened, right? And sometimes it's not even your fault, but you just feel, you can tell. So I would say it's an instinctive feeling, but I think feeling accomplished, feeling impactful, feeling like I delivered this very best service and product to these people and they're happy. They wrote me a review. They wrote me a note telling me how much they were impacted. Like, that's how you can tell, is the feedback that you're getting.
In your view, Jennifer, what are the differences between a business that you're chasing versus a business that sustains you?
It's the transactional versus relational. I mean, so in the bit, I'm in mortgage. Okay. So there's so much competition, but
Yes.
I'm going to compare it to the too big to fail companies. They're transactional because they're just looking at the bottom line.
Hmm.
They can't hire people fast enough. They can't train them fast enough. people, they're just transactional. They have so many leads because they're so gargantuan that you're like a number. You're like just a cattle with that little stick they put on you that they brand you with you're just.
Oh yeah. I don't know the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're just in the assembly line. And I'm not saying those companies are bad. That's just how they operate. They're just so ginormous. And they're transactional. They're looking, I don't know if they're really concentrated on the repeat business. They're concentrated on what are our numbers this month and how many people can we fit into this lane? Because I get those clients all the time. I get so many save a deals and referral partners that refer me that say, hey, they've already been on this route and it is not working. And they were denied a day before closing, right? So transactional is working on way more than you can handle and not turning any business away at all. Like it's part of what I know that it leads to another question, but I think it's transactional versus relational is really the key differences when you concentrate on being in relationship with people. And I don't mean that you're going to invite them to a wedding. I mean that you're just caring for them. You're in, you care about what their needs are, and you show them that they're important, and you care that they close on time and that they get the product that they signed up for, right? Whatever your product is, that's relational, is you having care for them. And I really think that that's the difference, just bluntly put.
Let's stay talking about relationships for a little bit. How is, or maybe is, building a company like building relationships?
I believe that it is. I believe that you need to have compassion. You need to have forgiveness. You need to be flexible. I mean, let's face it, relationships in general are, and you also, you're going to have clients that have all these different qualities, right? And you have to understand your audience. And I coach my team all the time. In fact, right now we're reading Just Let Them. I'll give Mel Robbins a plug. I love that book.
I am reading that book right now as well, Jennifer. Girl. We can both give her a plug.
Well, so I read it, and then my team were reading it. And in relation to what we do, it's really understanding that your client's not meaning to be frustrated. Sometimes clients, they get a little sideways, right? I mean, buying a house is emotional. That's the product that I sell. I mean, it's not cut and dry. And so, it's understanding and putting yourself in their shoes of what they're going through, right? So it's a certain amount of forgiveness. Like they might be annoyed or irritated with you, right? It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with they're trying to close on a house and have a family and have a full-time job and they travel for work. It's so understanding what my clients are going through allows me to just forget, okay, I'm just going to forgive that they just were a little bit grumpy with me, and I'm going to have compassion for that. And I am just going to love on them more, literally, we have to self-talk ourselves all the time because that's what our clients need. We need to get them to the finish line, and we need to understand their problems. We need to understand where they are and meet them. I call it meeting them in the mud, right? You got to meet them right where they are. And some processes are easier than others based on what they have going on. And it's up to us, the professionals, to mold ourselves that way. That's what it means to be in a relationship.
In the good times and the bad times.
In the good times and the bad times, which is exactly like being in a relationship with a person. Your friend is just going through a hard time. They didn't mean to say that ugly word to you or phrase or whatever. And you're just like, no, I'm just going to forgive that the minute it hits her lips, and we're just going to move right on.
I will say, Jennifer, you're definitely nicer than a lot of people that I have heard of as far as, forgiving and moving past when clients or friends take out their bad day or their overwhelming life on you. Most people don't move past it as easy as you are describing. So kudos to you for that.
Well, I think it comes from all of our own personal experiences, honestly, like growing up. And this is probably why I'm good at what I do. Growing up, and I still am, I will avoid conflict at all costs. Okay. Like I have complete blackouts in my memory of things that might have happened that were negative. And my brother, who actually works with me for 22 years, he'll say something. He's my right hand at the office. He'll go, "Don't you remember this when we were kids?" I'm like, "No clue, no recollection." And I had a good childhood, but like still there's some things that I do not remember because I choose to put them way over here. So I think I grew up and my family was, we could have a dog out fight, verbal fight for a while. And then 5 minutes later, we're like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" Like we're done with that. We're putting that in the past. So I am glad that I'm that way because it does I forgive, I do forgive. I am just like, "Hey, let's move on. Like, let's just learn from this, move on." And it does help me. So if someone feels that if you're watching this and you feel that you're not one of those people, get some help, get some therapy, read the Let Them theory, which was actually, it's just really good with that. I think we just need to let things go and we need to trust ourselves as professionals. And part of trusting yourself is having the systems, but having the systems and the predictability behind the scenes gives you confidence and allows you to move forward on these kinds of things. Because when you don't have that and you're chaotic and by the seat of your pants, and I was that way for a period of time before I really got into my systems, and you're just beating yourself up most of the time because you know that you're the one that messed it all up. It wasn't your client, it was you and your lack of all this stuff behind the scenes, right? So you really start to, beat up on yourself, which is similar to relationships. Half the time that we're at odds with people is because we're just as guilty as they are. So anyway, I don't want to go too much on a tangent, but it all comes into that inner peace, just like in personal relationships and with your clients as well. So at the end of the day, structure solves everything. I'm just going to cut short to the very real thing is structure in life, structure at work, structure at everything is the solution to all of it. So
let me ask you something. What if your business actually loved you back? That's exactly what Jen Hernandez is helping entrepreneurs do. Build businesses rooted in trust, consistency, and genuine care. When you show up the right way, your business doesn't just grow, it begins to give back through meaningful referrals, aligned opportunities, and lasting relationships. If you're ready to build a business that truly supports you, not just financially, but sustainably, Jen shows you how to create something that loves you back. If you're ready to create a company that truly supports you, connect with Jen Hernandez at Jennifer at jenhugheshernandez.com. What role does consistency play in showing love to your company?
Predictability. Your employees know what they can, expect. They know how you're going to show up on a daily basis. I've had people that work for me where one day they're grumpy and the next day they're happy. And, that person eventually weeded their way out. I finally had to be like, "Hey, you can't work here anymore," And so predictability, the consistency of the systems, the company culture, what you do behind the scenes, what you're creating. It's a predictable, safe environment for people. The consistency is right in alignment with organization. And accuracy. I mean, especially in what I do, God, we have to be accurate. I mean, can you imagine
Yes.
dealing with people's personal information? Like,
And get it wrong.
we have to have consistency in our systems. Yeah. Yeah.
How can entrepreneurs practice patience, which may be a curse word at this point, practice patience in the early stages of building and nurturing their business? Because I feel like most, not all, as soon as they start, they want to be successful. They want to have the six figures in their bank account. They want all of these things. And you just started yesterday.
So if I had to do it all over again, I don't regret much. But I regret not getting coaching earlier.
Okay.
So I didn't get coaching until I was like 12 or 15 years into what I was doing. I was by the seat of my pants. And the only reason I was successful was because of my work ethic. Like, I'd work till 10 at night if I had to. I always did what I said I was going to do. And I always returned calls. Like, I had some good core habits, and that really got me far. And I was one of the top people in my city just by doing that. And I'm like, God, that's all you have to do. But then my personal life became chaotic, right? You're working too many hours. You're not taking care of yourself. Like, that feeds into a lot of other things. And so I think that entrepreneurs can practice asking for help and realizing that they need help, and they need to get, some coaching, and coaching or mentorship doesn't always have to cost money. I know that when you're first starting in a business, it's hard because you're like, well, I don't have a ton of money to spend, right? So form a mastermind group with other people that have similar interests to you, right? In your friend group or whatever. Like, surround yourself by people that are where you want to be. And implement systems quicker. If I had to do it all over again, I would have implemented systems quicker, which really the coaching helped me with that, right? Like, they helped me with the systems part, because it's hard to do that stuff alone. I mean, you need a roadmap. Like, figuring it all out on yourself, like, it's impossible. I mean, it's impossible. You're only going to get so far, and you're going to be in quicksand the rest of the time. So I think just realizing that needs to be part of, whether it's your budget, or like, you need to allocate investing in yourself and in your systems as quickly as possible. So,
why is listening to your company through data, through feedback, customer needs, just as important as speaking for it? And the reason, like, I have a quick story on that. Of course, obviously, I do this podcast, but I've had amazing guests, including yourself on here. But I've had guests. I remember one guest, this was like my first year, like, doing the podcast and setting up my systems. They would always talk about, okay, so what time zone are you? What time zone am I? What time does that mean for me? And so eventually, just listening to that feedback, and it was never in a negative way. It was just trying to figure out the time zones and the time where they were living and where I'm living. I was able to go in and set up that when someone scheduled something with me through my systems, it would automatically reflect their time and my time. And, that now that I'm saying it so many years later, it seems so simple and so like common sense approach. But during that first year, like, I was constantly being bombarded with phone calls and emails about time zone, that when I was able to fix that, it just relieved so much pressure and cut down on the emails and the phone calls about time zone. And it was just because I listened to the customer feedback.
No, you hit the nail on the head, and that goes, so I'll sum it up for anyone watching this. So the book, Raving Fans, super simple read, but there's 3 things. You got to identify what you want. So that means what you want your typical client avatar to look like, who your ideal client is. And that right there actually is going to lead to a lot of other things, but we're going to get there in a minute. So what do you want? Whether it's hours you want to work, the side of town that you want to work, like what types of clients do you want? And then you have to figure out what the client wants. And once those two are in alignment, you can deliver wow plus one. So you were listening to what your clients want, something so simple, right?
So simple.
So, and when we violate that, and this is really tying into the business that loves you back. When you violate what you want and you violate what they want, even if it's the smallest thing, you can't deliver wow plus one. It's a horrible experience. And it's not going to love you back. You're going to have customers complaining. They're not going to refer their friends. They're going to go out and let's face it, in this day and age, we are all terrified of a 1-star review. Like,
yes.
Terrified. Yes. And so, and it all started with you violating what it is that you want. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's me. And even though and this is where it's hard, because when you do get 100% referral or a high percentage of referrals or any referral, you feel this responsibility, right? And yes. If it's really, so I bend the rule. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, this was a referral from Crystal. She's a good friend. I don't want to let her down. I want to take care of her person, but man, I really am not good at this kind of loan that they need. Like, it's one that I've only done one in the last 48 months. And but I'm just, so I know she's taken care of, I'm going to take this and just muster through it. So I'm really taking on something that I'm not equipped to handle, or it could be that I don't really have the time, right? It can be a number of things. Mm-hmm. And let's say that it turns out bad. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, shame on me. Like, I should have realized either A, I've already reached my limit of what my team can handle. We already have more than we can handle. I should have politely said no and said, you know what? I would love to help you, but I am busier than I can handle right now, or whatever that is, right? Like, you can eloquently bow out, but I am going to refer you to a trusted professional that does the same thing. And I'm going to lovingly pass you on. But we don't do that because our little egos, it's really an ego thing.
It is. It is.
Oh, we need the money. And oh my God, and so it gets to this really big picture. And at the end of the day, Crystal, I want for everyone that is watching this or listening, the goal is that you generate more leads than you can handle, so you can cherry pick the ones that really fit your model. And the other ones, the number one mistake that we all make, because we're human, is we take on clients that we should not be taking.
Yes. Because
of time or money or whatever the reason is. I could name off 10 reasons if it would just take too long, right? It says for the sake of time, or they violate, I do business with a lot of realtors, and they take on clients all the time. It's a listing an hour and a half away, but I'm going to do it because I got to make my car payment, right? Like, no, y'all, you are setting yourself up for a disaster, so just like refer it to somebody and realize that. And this comes with the relationship and the networking part. I'm going to do something for someone else, and someday they're going to do something for me. I don't know when that's going to be, but I really do believe in reciprocity as a universal thing without me expecting it. And so when we take on business that we really should not be taking for whatever reason, it's a high percentage of the time that it turns out bad. And that's when you break your system, your organization breaks, you feel horrible. You talked earlier about, the money, and I talked about, God, I've had closings where I'm like, oh my God, I just don't even deserve to be paid on this. Like, this is not my normal jam. Like, I don't normally have clients that feel this way. And it's usually because of that. And I just encourage everybody to really take a look and to learn how to say no and say, hey, I'm not the best fit for you. And I've said that too, by the way, of toxic clients. I said that one time to, and this is the hardest one. And it was a big loan. I mean, it was going to be good revenue, but I did not care. He was a jerk.
Wow.
And I could tell, and he was not. And I politely told him, because it would be toxic for my team. It would be toxic for my system. And I knew, and I haven't had to do this very often because of this reason. But I said, I'm so grateful that you called me, but I'm not a fit for you. And he was shocked. He's like, I can't believe that you're telling me this. And I said, no, I mean, I'm doing you a favor.
Did you refer him to someone else?
I think I did. It was a while ago, but I remember calling. I didn't tell the referral source that he was a jerk, but I just said, hey, my team right now, we have more than we can handle. And I'm not able to give him the level of attention. I probably did. I did refer him to someone else. So it was hard to do. And I don't have to do that very often, but no amount of money is worth putting my team through that, because it breaks the organization. It breaks the system. It breaks all that predictable stuff, that accuracy and all that we're talking about. And he would have been a 1-star review guy. He would have never been happy no matter what we did.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Staying on referrals, Jennifer, what referrals tell you about the trust you have in your company? And I guess I can add on to that, and in you.
So you beeped out just for a minute. I think it might have been my Wi-Fi. Can you repeat that question?
Yes. What do referrals tell you about the trust that clients have in your company and in you?
They tell us in the reviews. We always poll clients, and we're always calling them 30 days after we're calling them at closing. I always honor call them like the day after. And so I always ask them, how was the process for you? I mean, I proactively get it out of them. And if they hesitate even for a moment, I say, hey, I really appreciate that, but you hesitated. Most people by nature want to avoid conflict, and they won't give you that feedback that you really need. So you have to sometimes, if I sense, and I know when the transaction went not great, and I will tell them, and I will fall on the sword. I will take the blame every time, every single time. Listen, I just feel that this was not an amazing experience for you, and I just want to personally apologize. And I think people can usually appreciate that. So I have to really push them and ask them, if they haven't told us already, for any feedback that's, can be constructive for us. And luckily, I don't have to do that very often. We have a lot of raving people, but again, I'm not perfect. Like, I know when we have a client that is not happy, and I take the blame every single time, because that is part of the system, is having a system where you implement quickly when things go bad. Because if it's happening for one client, it is definitely happening for another.
Yes. Or probably already happened and the client just didn't say anything.
Yeah. And
how can business owners design an experience that naturally inspires referrals? I know you say that within your company, you get the referrals kind of automatically. It sounds like all the time. How can business owners design a company like that naturally inspires the referrals?
So you definitely need to be networking. You need to get yourself out there and build relationships. People refer people that they like. And if they never see you, and that's how I started in the very beginning 30 years ago. and still today it's true, even in this age of internet and everything else, or online, what is it, social media, it's putting yourself out there. You have to show up. You have to be part of 2 to 3. I would say 3 or more is probably too many, but you need to be a part of some groups where you've got people that are like-minded and, people that you enjoy being around. And you need to get in the habit of caring more about their success than your own. Like when I referred the guy that I didn't want to help, right?
Right.
I referred him. In fact, gosh, I don't know if I'd refer a jerk to somebody else, though. I don't even remember who I referred him to, but I somehow put him somewhere. And I think just recognizing that, so networking, and you also need to make sure that you're showing gratitude. So I would say, on Mondays or Fridays, you should look back at the week and have a little basket of actual notes and actually write a note to somebody and thank them. I look at my week. I like to batch things together, and I look back and I like to write notes. Just do 10 a week. You don't have to, you don't have to get a writer's cramp, but I mean, there's got to be 10 people that you were grateful for something for.
Absolutely.
Or you could send them a video. You could send them, just break out your phone and do a quick 40-second video to them. Thank you so much for this, that, the other, the lunch, the whatever. I think people really appreciate gratitude. And then the systems of nurturing, and that this goes along in the systems of what you can do to nurture referrals, is you have to have touch points to keep in touch with them, because it is out of sight, out of mind, especially in this day and age. You have to do something that stands out. So I put them on drips to where they're getting certain number of emails, because let's face it, that's how they're going to remember you, is you're constantly delivering value, like not just a junky email that says nothing, but like something that's valuable to them, depending on what your product is. So I would say the mixture of all that, but really it starts with networking and being consistent about the networking. Like you have to keep showing up month after month after month, or week after, whatever the networking cadence is, and then have systems to support those people.
How can you encourage referrals? And I feel like a lot of people deal with this, Jennifer. How can you encourage referrals without making your clients feel pressure?
So first you have to deliver wow plus one. You have to, so with the clients, and the best kind of referral, by the way, is from a client that is doing business with you right now. So for me, my average cycle really from the time they get under contract to closing is 30 days. So I have a real short window to deliver, right? Like I've been delivering on follow-up up until that point, but then it's really crunch time. So some of you might have clients that it's a longer cycle, right? Like maybe you sell a product like food, Cisco or something, and you have clients, restaurants that keep coming back, right? So it's a longer cycle, but I think you have to definitely deliver to them and keep on your promises and check in with them. Like, hey, Crystal, I know we've been at this for 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks from closing. I just want to check in. How has my team been treating you up until now? Like, are we responsive? Like on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel about the process? If they're not happy, they're going to tell you. I'm just telling you. Like, well, and that's when I hear the hesitation, if they hesitate, like, oh, yeah, it's been good. I'm like, yeah, Crystal, you don't sound convincing. Like, I really want to know. I'm calling you because I really want to know. Like, I can only help you if you tell me what is not perfect. Like, I want this to be perfect for you. And so when you deliver that, and you deliver that care and concern to people, it's like an obligation. Like they feel valued, and then I can solve your problem. Or let's say you say that I'm a 10, which, I really actually want to be an 8 or a 9 so I can fix something. And then I say, Crystal, I am so grateful to you for this feedback because it helps my team grow, and really, really appreciate that. Listen, we would love to have more clients just like you. You've been amazing to work with. You're definitely letting us know when we can help you more, which I appreciate. Who do you know right now that needs to buy a house, that needs a mortgage?
Yes.
And you may not know right now, but your reticular activator is on. And so I've threaded a few points in my system to where we're not asking every time. Like, I don't want to be annoying, but I don't ask like that until I've shown them some value one way or the other. Even if I solved your problem and you were a 5 and I turned you into a 10, I would still ask you. Yeah. So when you earn the right, and you're planting the seed with them, because a lot of people don't naturally refer.
Right.
I mean, I think business owners probably do, but not everyone's a business owner, right? Like 60% of the population is, if you know the DISC test, they're an S. Like they're teachers and nurses and employees, right? Like it doesn't occur to everybody to refer. And so you have to really program them. You have to show them that you care about them, and then you can ask in return.
What are some practical ways to feed your company beyond money? Maybe time or attention or innovation. What are some ways to feed your company?
So, well, I think pouring into your employees, like if it's just you, that's one thing. I mean, you're only going to go so far if it's just you. Like the magic really happens when you're 2 people, 3 people, and that's, I think, the goal of most business owners, right?
Right.
But I think that a way that you can help yourself is hiring, number 1, because when you start being all roads lead to you, you're really doing everyone else a disservice. You're doing your client a disservice because you're doing things that you could totally delegate. But I think that a way that you can give back, not only, aside from money, is pouring into your people and really listening to them and them being heard and being involved in the solutions. One of the best things I ever did, I mean, because let's face it, leadership is not an inherent innate skill. I mean,
no, it's not.
Learned. And when I first had a team, I'll never forget, I had my first team meeting and I had like 4 or 5 people on my team because I'd kind of grown a lot in a year. And I'm like, okay, this is my first annual team meeting. And it was December and I was so proud of myself. I was like, all right. And I asked them certain things. I can't remember what it was at this point. And after they all gave their opinion, I basically said, okay, this is what we're going to do, which was what I wanted to do.
Oh, wow.
And my brother, who I could have clubbed him, he said, hey, he said it respectfully, but he's like, hey, if you already knew the answer, how come you asked us what we thought? And I was like,
did he say that during the meeting in front of everyone?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
And I deserved it. And that really opened my eyes to me being a super crappy leader. So I made sure to concentrate on that. So I think what you can do is you yourself need to keep learning, do the seminars, and realize that you need to change. And listen to your people. I'm not saying they call all the shots, but it's like a group effort. When you have 1 or more people assisting you, it is no longer the Jennifer Hernandez show.
Right.
It is the Jennifer and the Carol and the Crystal show, right? Like people need, and so pouring into your people that way, having celebrations, like, hey, when you meet certain goals, having little prizes, having, you've got to have all those things. And I do a 30-day check-in with all my people, and I don't call it a review. I call it just like a 30-day coaching check-in.
Yeah.
And I have a list that I go through the same questions every time, so they know what to expect. And it's me making sure that they're okay, and what can I do better to be better for you. And that's really been helpful. And so I think structure with your team and really showing, just like I said with the clients, you have to show them that you care, right? Show them, be more concerned about them than you are about yourself. And so I make sure that my actions reflect that with the team. We also do a 30-day pinch point meeting because we solve problems quicker and it goes apart to the organization, right? Like when you only do that once a year and you're like, oh, let's solve all the year's problems. What all things went bad? Let's solve them all in December.
Good luck.
And the list is ginormous. And this was a coach that said to me, he said, Sunshine, you need to look in the mirror. You are the problem to your little leadership issues and why you have B players right now. So you start attracting better people when you get more organized, get more, more systems like this. You're developing a culture. And my team started to change. And I started to notice that I started getting better at hiring. Not that I've never hired a few, dunces, but you get committed to working on all these things. And that I talk about that. We've been talking about this for a few minutes, but it's so important because when you hire B and C players, I'm just telling you, you will not have a predictable process where the clients can tell. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't know that it starts with your people and they are your ultimate VIPs, and when you pour into them, they are going to pour into the clients. So focusing on those things, and it is painful. I'm just not going to lie to you. So you've got to get help. You've got to seek out leadership podcasts or books or masterminds or go to a 3-day conference. I don't know, but it does not happen overnight. And that is the number one thing I think people can concentrate on. And their business will change for sure.
How can boundaries and rest contribute to a healthy company?
The boundaries are kind of what we talked about before, about realizing who your best client is, who you can help and who you don't. And not that you're ever going to bend the rules, but really picking and choosing when you bend the rules of kind of who your typical best client is that you can help. So that's the boundaries part. Mm-hmm. You also really need to have boundaries in your calendar, because if you are crazed like a rabid dog all the time because you're working too much, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing your morning routine, whatever that looks like for you, and everybody's different. But I will say that nutrition and exercise and sleep, it doesn't get more basic than that. And if those things are not in alignment and you're not working on those things, you're gonna run your business that way. You're going to be crazed and brain fog and confused and unorganized. And it's going to all be just this hamster wheel that you don't get off of. So it really does start with yourself. Mm-hmm. And when you can be clear-headed and, be focused and all the things, your business reflects that for sure.
What are 2 or 3 daily things that entrepreneurs can do to keep their company thriving?
So number 1 is follow a calendar. Okay. Use a calendar and follow it. That's actually number 1. So for a 10-year period of time, I'm just going to digress a minute, but it has a point here. So years ago, for 10 years, I coached top lenders in the nation. I was part of a group that I was coached by them, and I became one of their coaches to help coach other people. Like, this was a high-powered group. Like, these lenders are already successful, and we helped them double their businesses. Like, we're talking adrenaline personality. Like, they ran teams. They had 2 and 3 people working under them. So they had like a small business within a business, right? So and they all suffered with calendar. All of us. I mean, I constantly am working on it because it is the number one thing. And when we started to fix their calendar, and that's why they paid high money to coach with this company. Like, we're talking like $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Okay. Like, it was a lot. So they had to have results. Right. And I always started with the calendar, and that solved like 50% of their problems.
Wow.
I'm not joking. And it goes along boundaries and caring for yourself and following the calendar and running it like running your business like a business, not by the seat of your pants, right? So when we fixed their calendar issues, all these other things started to happen. How they took in their calls and how they structured their day and say, and they all had teams to support them. It's hard to do that when you're all roads lead to you. So it goes along like making sure that you hire and, I could just go on and on, but the calendar was the number one thing. So your daily habits around calendar, like I could debate that and I would win every time. I'm just telling you stories. Someone might disagree with me, but I think your calendar is number one, and making sure that you have your personal things in it and what's your start time and your end time. And okay, I need 2 late nights. Which late nights are they, right? Like if you want to stay married, you better agree on those late nights, so all those things go into the calendar. It's just this magical tool and following it, like not ignoring it, right? So that would be my answer, is the number one thing. And within that, having blocks of time, because if you're not carving out, like I'm talking 2 to 3 hour blocks a few times a week for like proactive calling, proactive working in your business, outward bound calling and stuff, your business won't grow. So you've got to have a system for reaching out to referral partners, reaching out to past clients. There's a structure to it that you can have, because the rest of the week, let's face it, we're all, no matter how organized we are, it's all very easy. You just need one disaster to happen and then that railroads your whole day and your triage. And oh my God, when a client's upset, you drop everything.
Yeah.
Like
you should. You should. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. But you need that structure in your calendar to bring you back. And when you come back and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? You just look at the calendar and you're like, oh, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to be. But you need that proactive time. And I would say that's the second thing you could do, as a subset of the calendar. The third thing is just making sure that you're nurturing your employees, and those are little, whether it's the consistent daily team meeting with the checklist, where daily team meeting, these are always it's the predictability, right? Like the team needs to know what they can expect every single day, and it's the little things that support that, the very, very little things, and it all comes back to the calendar. We have a daily team meeting every day at 9, and we always go through the same things in the same order. Like,
how can you measure whether your company is loving you back?
Well, it's definitely monetary. I mean, let's face it, we're all in this to make money, right? So if you're operating at a profitable margin, because if your clients are unhappy, you're giving concessions. Oh, let me pay for this. Let me reduce my fee, blah, blah, blah. And so, right?
You take your money out of your own pocket.
You are, and you should, because you're not giving the customer service experience. So when you're doing what you say, keeping on promises, loving on them, you're able to operate at a profit margin, because you're not scrambling behind the scenes to fix things. Okay. Right. And so one sign that that's loving you back is that you're making a profit. And the second thing is that I would say 20 to 30% of your business should be from past clients.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that's how you know. I mean, because you're getting that ultimate compliment. People are referring you because you treated them. Now, in the beginning, when you're just starting out, you're not going to have the past clients, right? So you're judging it by people referring you. But people can refer you once and then they don't refer you again. So when you have referral partners that refer you multiple times, that's also a sign, because people are trusting you over and over again. I mean, you can get a referral and blow it and never get another referral again. Right?
That would be horrible. And that would also be telling you something about your company and your clients.
Mm-hmm.
They would also be telling you something.
Yeah, that's
What's
exactly
one
right.
piece of advice you would give someone who wants to build a company that loves them back for decades, as you have done with your company?
I would say implement systems, and you have to keep tweaking those systems. So like the 30-day, I mean, it just seems so simple, and it took me so long to implement this. Like this is me going back saying, oh my God, if I had only implemented this a few years in, you know,
Hindsight, Jennifer, hindsight.
oh my gosh, once you start, well, you got to hire earlier. And I think that the fear of entrepreneurs is, oh my gosh, I don't have the money to hire somebody. So hiring the first person is the hardest, because then they become your dumping ground for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can hire the second person, that's where the magic happens, because everyone can really have a lane, you know? So I think making sure that you really focus on hiring and predictability and systems within that, like who does what,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to start making sure, because your clients are going to be able to feel that, you know, they can feel that there's a system. Like people innately know. Like, have you ever gone to a doctor's office and it just, everything is streamlined and you're like, wow, like I didn't have to wait more than,
best experience.
yeah, I didn't have to wait more than 4 minutes.
Yeah.
The doctor, there's one doctor, my ENT guy, like it's like he has nothing else to do. He will sit there and chat with me, and he is just, you know, oh, hey, yeah, you should check out that gluten-free bakery on your way out on the bottom floor. Man, they are so good. I had the blah, blah, blah sandwich today. I'm like, he's just sitting there chatting with me, and I'm just like, but I feel a different way than when I go and the person is very, you know,
rushed,
wham, bam, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're in and out. You know, they're like breathing heavy when they walk in the door because they're running behind and they have so many clients, more than they can handle.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm saying, is they can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And so concentrating on the team and everything around that, because your team is helping you love on people when you're not. And that's the biggest, I don't want to say mistake, but kind of that I see is people, you know, we hoard stuff, and it's really ego driven. Unfortunately, you know, we all have this innate, and it's not trusting. It's saying, oh, I'm the only one that can do it and no one else can do it. Yes, they can. It's just because you're disorganized and you need a coach. You need someone to show you, so that you can have these systems and you can have people that, you know, you hire A players, right? You do better hiring. And so when you concentrate on that one component, you create this system that loves them back, and they know they're trusting the system. And it is almost impossible to do when you're a one-man show.
Oh, wow.
Because you will get more business if you do it the right way and you create a great business model and you're amazing. You will have more business than you can handle, and you will have fractures all over the place. Yeah. You will get busy, or your kid will be in the hospital. And let me just tell you what, when your kid's in the hospital, everyone else can just do what they want, because I'm not calling them back. I'm like focused on my kid, right? So I've created a system where all roads lead to me. But like my son had surgery last Friday. I went to Lubbock. I've been caring for him, but my clients do not even know the difference. Like my team is doing the same things that they do. They have their lane. They're monitoring my email. They're monitoring my calls. They're calling people back. They're getting them in the system. Like I've created a system and a good team that knows what they're doing, because I pour into them.
Right.
And that's going to keep long-term the business that keeps loving you back. The clients know that they can rely on a predictable process that they feel confident referring their friends to, and they can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So as we get ready to wrap up, Jennifer, what is your intention now in this space of teaching and showing people how to build a company that loves them back, that pours back into them? What is your intention now?
So my intention is, I really want to speak on more stages. Like if you have a sales, or if you know anyone with a sales organization where they need, this kind of energy, I would love to come. I want to get the word out to any and all salespeople of what we talked about today. And I have created a VIP day. People can hire me for a day. That's kind of the advanced level. I love to fix things. Like, I know this is a weird analogy, but like, I love to do the dishes. I love the dirty to the clean. I love the process of like, oh my God, like after Thanksgiving, oh my God, there's just a hot mess in here. And then I love that it's all clean. And like, I like the transition of making hard things simple. Like that's my superpower. And so, yeah, so first I really want to help people, by helping a mass amount of people. I mean, I've created a workbook and, to lead people through some questions that help nurture a business, what we've described today. So you can visit my I do have a website, Jen Hughes Hernandez, Jen Hughes, Hughes, and then Hernandez. And all that can be there. You can find out more and click. And, but that's what I plan to do. I plan, I won't do mortgages forever. I mean, I've done this 30 years. I, probably have 5 more years of, I'm really building the team to where I can kind of take a foot out and teach other people more how to build a business they love. And that really does, fulfill me. I love to watch other people grow. And so anyway, yeah. So visit me at jenhugheshernandez.com and you can check out all the things that you can do to engage with me. And yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Now, my final question for you, Jennifer, who do you think would make a great guest on the podcast? But you have to help me get them on.
Yeah, so I have 2 really amazing women in mind. One is Toni Harris Taylor. She is one of my mentors, coaches. She's actually coached me 2 out of the last 3 years. And she is just, I love her. She is positive and upbeat and has amazing ideas. She's been a great coach. So I think she just has a lot of great things to say. So you should definitely interview her. And then Day Smith, she's another woman that I met through Toni, actually. And she's a working mom. I can really relate to her because she's also a working mom and wife, and we're similar in age. And so that's, you're always wanting to surround yourself with people that are doing all the things like you are. So I can really resonate with her. So she's amazing as well. So I think those 2 people would be a great addition for your listeners and viewers to learn from.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for being on the podcast and just talking about, and again, something that I did not know about, having your company love you back, having your company pour back into you. So I appreciate you so much for being on the podcast.
Yes, thanks for having me, Crystal. I really appreciate it.
And to my community, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You can get Jennifer's podcast and all of my other podcasts on YouTube Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.